Welcome back to the 20-Minute Gamer channel, Brigadiers. I'm your host, Nick, and we're back with some more Phantom Brigade, albeit a little bit of a different video. Now, I have unlocked 5 provinces inside this vast country, and it is vast. There are dozens of territories still to, provinces still to liberate. I am barely putting a dent in what's happened, but I've reached a point now where the mechs I'm building and the parts that I have unlocked in my workshop are plentiful enough that I feel comfortable with talking about the mech building process. It's pretty hard trying to look at the mech building process when you're just getting into the game and you don't really know what you have to look forward to. So here we are, 5 provinces liberated, and I feel like I've just kind of reached a part where looking into mech building is something that we can do. Now, I'm kind of shooting from the hip. This episode is going to be, this video is going to be a little less scripted and more, like I said, shooting from the hip, just because there are things that I'm going to outline, but there are things that I want to make sure that I cover. And I'm very ADHD, and so, wow, side missions, even in the middle of all this. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm just going to go to our units, and I'm going to jump into Sentinel. Now, Sentinel is my favorite mech. It is the mech that my character, the character modeled after me, does drive, and obviously there's a little bit more sentimentality. As far as my mech goes, he is a medium class, a medium speed, and a medium dash. He's an all-around, well-rounded mech type. His armor class is going to prevent him from just getting chewed up. His speed allows him to dash almost completely across the map, at least halfway across the map effectively, minus terrain features. And then his dash also offers him a pretty decent dashing ability. He can get out of the way if he needs to. So I like the way that he's built, and I've got him with an assault rifle. My assault rifle currently has an expanded magazine. The expanded magazine has plus 35% rounds. So what that basically equates to is he has 18 shots with the expanded magazine. When I take it off, he goes down to 13 shots. So in one iteration, in one turn, that expanded magazine gives him 18 extra shots per segment that I put on the timeline, all right? And the timeline is segregated into 2 phases. You have 2 phases. Your top phase is your action phase. Your bottom phase is your movement phase. Now, action and movement phases can be done at the same time. They can be done at the same time. You can run and shoot. You can shoot and run, but you cannot dash and like put your shield up at the same time. You just can't do it, because dashing is a movement and an action, right? Just like ejecting. An ejecting pilot is in the top linear phase of the timeline, all right? So timeline has 2 phase levels, right? So each weaponed action phase for my AR-1 Astra assault rifle with expanded magazine gets him an extra 5 shots. You can see right there, 18 shots. No difference to heat generation or anything like that. I believe his kinetic and impact does change. 1053. Yeah, his all of that changes. All of that changes because you're firing more rounds. So all of these metrics for weapons are based on the amount of time, the seconds that they take up in that action timeline, all right? So looking at the general breakdown of the mechs, we'll kind of come back to the weapon systems, the upper, lower, and left arm, right arm segment, as well as subsystems and all of that here in a bit. Looking at the mech, the actual structure of the mech, his integrity, his base armor is 1492. He has a regenerative shield of 392. So he basically has a shield for his his left arm, his right arm, and his legs. His torso does not have any kind of barrier regeneration. So you can see my Blackbird is 106. So here's my legs right there. So he has all that. He's got the barrier regeneration here. Same with the arms, barrier regeneration. This arm, barrier regeneration, right? All right. So that is how it is. Left arm, right arm, torso, head, and then legs, all right? And then this is the integrity. The integrity is the overall calculation of the gray matter, and then the green, of course, is the barrier, right? Now, your actions are going to be different for every single mech based on the role that they have, okay? So my tactical mech sheds 44.4 heat every single second. So what that means is his total heat, I can see right here, his peak heat for shooting his assault rifle is 47 out of 133. So his heat capacity, his heat level is 133. Anything past that 133 means he's going to start eating a whole bunch of heat damage, right? So that heat builds up. The dissipation in between actions, whether it's primary, secondary, or dashing, okay, that dissipation adds up. So if I engage for 1 second, or however many seconds my primary is, it's 1.3 seconds for my action duration, okay? So 1.3 seconds means he's going to take 47 heat out of his 133. If I take a break, if I take a 1 second break out of that 47 seconds, 44.4 seconds are going to eat away. That's going to leave me with 2.6 seconds, I think, 2.6 heat remaining out of 133. So I can effectively, I could spam my assault rifle attack and an entire turn. There is nothing, and that's really kind of what's beautiful about this particular build, my tactical mech. He could technically attack for perpetuity the entire time. In fact, if I take my expanded magazine off and I put on some liquid cooling, it goes even less. So his peak heat now turns to 37 out of 133, and his dissipation is 44. So he is going to be losing, he is going to be venting more heat than he's actually expending, right? Which is the end goal. You want to make sure that your mechs have a healthy balance. When I look at mechs like Protector is taking heat. You can see the flame emblem right there. This beam weapon just absolutely eats a ton of heat. It expends a lot of heat, okay? And this is with liquid cooling on. That's minus 15% heat generation. Now, there is better subsystems available. I don't have them yet. You know, when you look at your end game, mechs, I mean, they're absolute powerhouses. I have seen videos online of melee mechs just ripping apart, just dashing, slice, and they're not burning any heat. I mean, they're just absolute powerhouses. We'll get there. We're going to get there. But you know what? After 5 provinces, I feel like I've got a really well-rounded team, and you know, this is what we've got to work with here, right? So if I take this liquid cooling off, he burns through, out of a 103 heat max, he eats through almost double that, 1.5 times what his heat is capable of, which means he's literally going to get 1/3 of the way through shooting this weapon, and he is going to start absolutely taking a ton of damage. And that's just for the solar burst. If I were to, for example, drop this guy on, all right, It's a little bit better, right? A little bit better. Well, it's honestly, it's a lot better. His heat has actually cut itself in half. Instead of 155, it's now 87. Okay, so these are all things that you have to consider when mech building. What is the role? What is his heat dissipation? How can I adjust that? How important is it that I use this solar burst with this liquid cooling and have that powerhouse of a weapon on the field? If I give him this and I give him this, I mean, he's got 103 heat, and I mean, he can spam 2 shots back to back, you know. This is the other thing that is nice about these builds. I mean, it just depends on what you're looking to build out of this. Also, there's the ejection pod. I love that you can see the ejection pod. I absolutely love that you see the where the pilot sits. I don't know, there's just something about that. Anyway, all right, so cool. So this is what we're working with. Now, I'm not going to use liquid cooling. I like the expanded magazine, but there are a lot of things. I can do penetrative, I can do concussive payloads, I can do an accelerator, which causes my rounds to just fly faster. I have an accelerator on my I thought I had one. I had a sniper rifle. I thought I had a sniper rifle that had that just so that my rounds punch faster, right? I want them to be quicker. Let me see here. Expanded magazine. Now here is another interesting. Here's another interesting bit on mech building. Looking at these parts, magnetic bearings. What a great subsystem. I don't know how much love it gets on your builds, but magnetic bearings is awesome. I don't know how many times, like when I first got a beam weapon, I realized how slow it was. Oh my God, I was just floored. Like, yeah, you know, in a straight line, and if you're able to track properly, I mean, it's great, but you know, if you've got a fast mech streaking across the field, or if the angle of attack is just awkward in any way, your beam, you're giving your mech heat. He's not doing any damage. He's not tracking accurately enough. Magnetic bearings changes all of that. Turn rate limit. Turn rate limit causes and allows your mech to swivel more quickly when tracking an enemy mech. I cannot highly recommend magnetic bearings enough. If you're just starting out and you have a weapon like this and you have magnetic bearings, put it on one of your mechs. Trust me, it is life-changing. They'll actually be able to track much more quickly, and that's 40% for a blue and 25% for a green. For me, anyway, that's what I have. But we are going to go ahead and put that liquid cooling on because it is a life-changing element here. We're going to go ahead and take that sidearm off because it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter to us. So there we go. So that's a little bit of a step into the elements of what goes into mech building. You know, you've got your weapons and the part that they play in the actions and the cooldowns, and how to really understand the dissipation and those attacks. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, your dissipation impacts how many attacks you can make per turn. Okay, and you'll see some mechs. Where is Lion? I got a railgun repeater. I want to play with this bad boy. Look at this thing. Like, its range is ball ass short. I mean, 39 to 57 meters, but I don't know, like, it looks good. Let me see here. I thought I had a midway. There it is. Yeah, so the midway is tricky, okay, because the midway is a good sniper rifle. It's got some good kinetic. It has concussion. The projectile speed is pretty good too, but when you consider projectile speed for the midway is 500. For the, let's see here, where is it? I guess the amounts are the same. I thought they were different. I was looking at a different weapon system. My bad. Sorry. Told you, hey, we're shooting from the hip. I'm going to make a couple mistakes here. It's going to be less scripted, like I said. But that concussion really, really helps in knocking out the enemies, especially if you get back hits. Remember, back hits do have a concussion modifier. So rockets, you want your rockets, your missile launchers to impact the rear of the mech. If you're able to get this sniper rifle on the rear, you should be able to get a better concussive response, okay? But the midway changes my heat dissipation tremendously, right? I mean, he's got 2 shots coming off that rifle, and that's 84 out of 88 for heat. I can fire this once. I cannot fire it a second time for quite a while, okay? For quite a while, almost 2 full seconds. So, damage to structures, useful for destroying cover, so it's piercing. Kinetic is just direct damage, and then concussion, of course, is damage to pilots, right? I don't know why I didn't just read that off to you, but I knew what it was. I was just having a hard time phrasing it, so my bad. But yeah, so kinetic is just your base damage. Impact is that piercing. So impact is going to be really, really important in a Vulcan. It's going to be really, really important in a beam weapon, right? That solar burst. The impact is 100. 11,115. That is absolutely critical. You rip right through buildings with this thing. Absolutely amazing, right? Anyway, we want to go ahead and give Lion his sniper rifle back. He is very, very particular about his weaponry. So that's weapons in a nutshell and how they kind of impact the gameplay. Okay, let's go ahead and look at Titan. Okay, let's see what we can build Titan out to be. I honestly wouldn't mind going ahead and giving him this railgun repeater. Maybe we make him a static vanguard. I don't think. Brass is another heavy. Guardian is a kind of, he's a backup assault. Knight is our melee mech. So yeah, let's go ahead and make Titan a vanguard. So we're going to go ahead and give him a shield. Alright. Alright, so he's got a shield. He's got a rail repeater. His shield has... Excuse me. His shield has regenerator, so his shield will regenerate, and you can see that's why that is so high, because his left arm has that shield. It has that modifier on it. All right. So let's look at torsos here. His mass will go down, his barrier will go up, and his power will go up, so he'll be able to move. All right. So we'll give him the Blackbird torso with regenerator, takeoff power, I want him, I think I want him to use, so if I give him takeoff, his heat dissipation goes down, but his power goes up. We'll give him that for now. We'll give him takeoff for now. But that difference in heat dissipation could be game-changing for him being a vanguard. What's our range as well on the on this? I want to go ahead and look at the difference between a shotgun. So range is light. And depending on depending on the shotgun that I use, I mean, it's really kind of negligible degrees of damage. If I use the shred, he gets higher impact, so he'll be able to rip through buildings better. I would probably give him the SG3 heavy. His heat generation goes up pretty considerably. So you can see it goes right now from 1.7 to 2.5, and everything kind of goes down. So giving him this heavy shotgun is really going to impact his flow, and I don't think that there is enough. This plasma repeater is also absolutely amazing. That's the other quick sidebar here, everybody. Stagger is awesome. If you have not used a weapon that has stagger, I would probably say 80% of the time that I use my plasma repeater, you force a crash. That's what stagger is. So stagger forces crashes, and it is extremely beneficial. Not only are you doing damage, I mean, you're not doing a lot. The plasma repeater is, for me, not used that way. I use it as a supplemental weapon to my tactical attacks. So I will have a Vanguard go in, he will stagger, and then my sniper and tactical mech are supporting the Vanguard in engaging a crashed mech, right? Much in the same way you could shield bash. It just is it's another element that is useful. I think we're going to go ahead and keep the railgun repeater just because the heat dissipation is better for us, and the overall kinetic and concussive damage just is negligible for me. You're going up to 816, and the concussive damage per second goes down as well, and everything else goes up. So I'm not going to stress it. Can we give him the Bane legs? I think that works for us. Power goes down. I like that. So everything is still pretty well balanced. Mediums across the board. Let's see here. Mass goes down, which is good here for that Nox arm. We can give him a Bane arm, and let me see here. Give him another Bane. That's not bad. That's not bad. So this is going to be Titan. He's going to do 41.2 heat dissipation. He's going to do 56 heat per turn, per action. He can dash a decent amount. He's got regeneration, so as he's getting hit, as long as he's not in combat, he should be able to regenerate pretty well as well. I mean, now we just need a paint scheme. So that's it. I mean, that's kind of mech building in a nutshell. I would say that the key things that you want to keep in mind is, what is your dissipation? First off, what's the role? What role are you trying to fill on your team? Secondly, how important is it that they constantly attack? Okay? If it's important that they attack often, then you need to consider that heat dissipation. When I think about the role that Sentinel has compared to the role that Protector has, Per doesn't need to attack all the time. He's going to attack once per turn, usually in the beginning, or he'll attack all the way at the end, where he can maneuver a little bit to get into play, but then he's just going to burn. He's just going to do a live fire straight across the field, and that beam is going to rip right into somebody. I could completely change this dynamic by giving him a Vulcan. Let me see here. It's going to change a lot for him. In fact, the Solar Burst has less mass, and his turn rate limit is better as well. So, I mean, it's almost kind of better to keep him with a... It's almost better to keep him heating up, unfortunately. I mean, that kind of sucks when you think about it because of what he is. But if we take off Afterburner, that's going to give him this. There you go. We just fixed it. We just fixed it. We'll give him R1 charger, and now he can shoot once per turn, and he will not overheat. His heat dissipation is still 35.4 per second, but his action duration is 4 seconds, and across that 4 seconds, he will only generate 110 heat out of 118 heat available. So we gave Per a little bit more wiggle room, but he's really slow. He has no dash, and he's a really slow boy. All right. Okay, so that's where we are. So yeah, final thoughts. Keep in mind the role that you're trying to fill. How important is it that they continuously attack, and where can you cut costs to not overheat on your primary action? My recommendation for that is just because your primary action is usually always going to be your most powerful. And if it's your most powerful, then that's the one you're probably going to want to use 90% of the time, right? I try to keep my distance with Sentinel whenever I have him engaging, because tactically that AR-1 Astra is going to be better than his handgun. Okay, it just is. It's just going to be better than his handgun. I could go ahead and give him a submachine gun. I could go ahead and give him that. The submachine gun has concussion. It does a little less damage, but I don't know if that's what's best for him, right? And I like this one because it has that perk for impact, and I can make that better as well. Let's see here: demolition, impact, projectile speed. We'll do that. A couple other. No, I think we'll cut it there. Yeah. Like I said, more of a hodgepodge video, less scripted. I hope that it gives everybody a decent look into the mech building process, and similar to BattleTech, it can be easily just as in-depth, but I also feel like there are a lot more freedoms in building mechs in this game than there are in BattleTech. In BattleTech, you know, it's like you have a Jaeger, and there's really only so many ways you can build out a Jaeger. And it's really sad because he has those quad guns. He has the ability. You could put 4 AC2s on a Jaeger and have a really sick close range fighter. But guess what? His armor is going to suck because he just can't keep up, right? I mean, the same way for medium lasers or heavy lasers. It doesn't matter. Jaeger mechs they don't have, as beautiful of a platform as they are, they aren't a good platform. I think Blackjacks are a better battle platform than Jaeger mechs, which is sad because I love Jaeger mechs. I just do. I think there's a lot more freedom in how you can build mechs in Phantom Brigade, and that's why this game is so appealing to me. That is why I really love this game as much as I do, and why I've had so much fun with it, because I don't feel restricted by anything that I'm building here, and it's for that reason that I keep playing this game, and why, even though the missions are a little recycled at times, I don't care. I just really love playing these mechs the way I want to play them. So it's been a long one. I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna cut some of this editing out. Stupid nuance things that bothered me about my ramblings. I'm a rambler. Sorry. I will see you on the next one, though. All right, Brigadiers? You stay safe out there. Nick out.